Oh, the howling, chilling winds of a winter blizzard. Only those with the thickest of fur may endure. Otherwise, you must plant yourself in the earth like the mighty oak tree, as it would be your only salvation. Just as we have here with our frontier farm. But as inevitable as it is that night will turn into day, winter shall pass and spring shall come. Howdy, traveler, the name's Carson, and I am the owner and operator of this here frontier farm. Maybe you've heard of me, maybe you haven't. Whoa, easy there, Buster, they're just passing through. Well, listen, traveler, if you're gonna be sticking around for a while, you can head to the inn. Me? Oh, I've got plenty of crops to sow. We are getting a fresh and early start to the season here. First things first, we're going to be sowing our cotton, our tobacco, and our rice. One of those three we're going to be eating, and the other two we're going to be selling as well as probably using for ourselves. We're also going to be sowing some sorghum. It's a nice crop that people use to make feed for their critters as well as for themselves with the flour that comes from it after being grinded. But our real golden goose, our wild African dogs, we plan on selling them. Oh, no, not these two. This is our breeding pair. We're going to be selling off their puppies, of which we currently have 3. Now, if we can manage to hold off long enough until they're grown up, they can make us up to $750 per head. But they still got quite a bit of growing to do for now. And truth be told, as does our farm as a whole. We are going to be expanding just a bit below the inn that we've recently built where weary travelers have been staying, and we are going to be growing a few more crops in this area. Obviously, though, not only are we going to be growing more crops, but we are going to be growing new and different unique types of crops. We don't want to just be known for our tobacco, cotton, and sorghum, now do we? We are no one-trick pony. We love variety. Similar, though, to our sorghum in some capacity, this is a field of buckwheat plant. Now, when I said it was similar to our sorghum plant, that's because buckwheat will also be used for mass-producing animal feed and basic meals for local British towns and settlements of the area. However, the biggest difference between the two is that our buckwheat has the quality effect from the crop quality mod when harvested. Because, unfortunately, our sorghum immediately turns into flour, it does not have this effect. And because of that, the prices only fluctuate with the buckwheat. I hope that makes sense. Allow me to show you. Basically, flour is always going to have a market value of about $1.90 per, because people don't really care about its quality, unfortunately. Worst case scenario for buckwheat, if we have a bumbling fool out there who doesn't know what they're doing, which we won't, we can only make up to about 44 cents per buckwheat plant. On the high end, the greatest quality buckwheat that we can harvest will be $4.40, which is extraordinary. Right now, the truth is going to be somewhere between awful and legendary, probably around about excellent and good, because we still have yet to hone our harvesting and planting skills that much, but we're getting there. All that being said, though, I think buckwheat is going to be an excellent addition onto all the crops that we grow this season. In the meantime, we have been raising quite a few rabbits throughout the winter months, and they are fed very well. As you can see, plump and fat and ready to be eaten, and sold off to the highest bidder at the local market, as well as a few of our cows. For this little trading mission, we're actually going to be sending out Teal, as I have much work to do on the farm, and I think he can handle it. We had received word that the southern settlement of Bobstown is in dire need of some livestock, and they'd be willing to pay a pretty penny for our bunnies and our cows, so that's exactly where we would head to. As we know, raising livestock and selling is basically a secondary income, with our main source of money coming from our crops. And so we only made about $795 off all the rabbits and cows that we sold, which, to be honest with you, I would think is pretty good. Teal would arrive back home sometime later, but who is this that he has along with him? This here is Tana. She's a little lass who ain't afraid to shovel cow dung. Now that's what I call great farmhand potential. She's familiar with this type of work. However, as you'll notice, she is no slave, nor would we ever use such labor, of course. However, you might be asking why or how we paid to hire her. Well, unfortunately, she was in an orphanage, and she had lost her ma and pa in some recent pirate attacks off the southern coast. A damn shame. But I doubt she wants to dredge up old sad tales. Let's cure our depression with a bit of work, shall we? I have the perfect idea. We'll take the young lass out on a hunting trip. We've had some coyotes after our livestock recently that we need to cull. All right, little missy, let's take a stroll through the woods, shall we? There they are. Vicious predators, but cowardly when flying solo. Similar to pirates. Come now, young miss, don't lose your nerve now. We've yet to even fire our first shot. You'll be fine, just stand by me. Well, look at you, kid. You're a natural. Now all we gotta do is track its blood trail. Alright. There. Between the trees. Just in that clearing. There, see? Not so big and bad after all. That was some mighty fine shooting. I didn't know you had it in you. Alright, let's get this one cleaned and gutted, and we'll take it back home for butchering. We can't let meat go to waste around these parts, regardless of that coyote stench. After that, it'll be time to finish up the rest of the pack. Now this is an extraordinary job that Teal and Tana are doing for us, and one that is quite crucial to us raising our livestock. But thankfully, they're also getting the help of our Rottweiler Buster and our wild dogs that we've been raising, who are also doing one hell of a job by keeping critters out of our fields that would eat our crops otherwise. Speaking of which, I think it's time that we add yet another crop to our repertoire and to our lineup that we're already growing. This time, we're going to be planting a great big field to the south of the pond in the middle of the farm. That way we can get plenty of water to these crops as quickly as possible, of course. It is here that we are going to be growing some psychoid. I know, a somewhat controversial plant, used for a few different mind-bending substances, but also many different medicinal items, and for our business it shall only be sold to the appropriate authorities to ensure its purpose is compliant with local laws, used to treat the sick and the unwell, not getting pirates and filthy vagabonds high in the forest somewhere. Of course though, with all of the new things that we're growing and creating, we need new storage buildings too. You guessed it, store them all. So we're going to be building a large barn next to our cow pen and our psychoid field to help us out with this a bit. However, unlike our other storage barns and buildings that we've built near our residential housing, this one is only going to be for things like buckwheat, psychoid plants, things like that. Not weapons and building materials, of course. We don't want to muddy the waters. And what I mean by that is, it'd be a shame to be looking for a rifle or a knife or something and it's on the other side of town. Circling back a bit, recently we did build our inn, and it has been wildly successful, providing sanctuary to all weary travelers coming through the area, and of course making us some small profit side income in the process. However, our very first business idea and venture was our general store, which I still very much am interested in opening up. By the way, if you have any names for the general store, be sure to let me know in the comment section. Anyhow though, until now, we've yet to gain the manpower needed to have someone running the register for hours throughout the day. I do know a tiny little lass who is quite the hunter, but could really use a bit of an improvement in her social skills. Alright then, it's settled. Young Tana here will be manning our register in the store. We are officially open for business. For now, we're only going to be selling a few tiny things, such as packs of cigarettes from our tobacco that is grown right here on the farm. But I think we'll also start selling maybe some milk, some gourmet meals like homegrown pies, and things like that once we get an orchard going, and other different projects that we need to work on, of course. Perhaps even some of our quality wools from Muffalo, which we just tamed our second of, which is perfect because we now have a breeding pair. And as such, we're also going to be building the Muffalo their very own pen. Specifically, I want to be raising them, as mentioned, for their wool. I might also end up taming some alpaca and other woolly creatures. Milk is a nice byproduct that we can sell too. Would it really be farming in RimWorld though if we hadn't built a pen that we were raising Muffalo in? No, I don't think so. I've been meaning to build a Muffalo pen for quite some time, but I really didn't have a reason to get them out of the cow pen until we at least had 2 of them. I'm happy with how this turned out though. That being said, it is finally time for our very first harvest of our buckwheat this season. And along with that, our very first harvest of our tobacco and cotton plants as well. The only issue we currently face is how we plan on hauling all of these things to nearby towns to be sold. We had recently lost our horse-drawn carriage in an attack by the Impid tribes of this area, and so we are going to be replacing it with a nice big ox cart. Truth be told, other than the fact that they murdered our horses, those Impids kinda did us a favor, because an ox cart was something we were in dire need for, as the cargo capacity far exceeds that of a horse-drawn wagon, making the ox cart the ultimate farming and trading vehicle that we need. I will say, however, the only drawback is that ox are not near as fast as horses, so even though they are much more sturdy and can haul more, it takes a little bit longer to make it into town. Once again, I must say that I have forgotten in this episode to build a road from our farm to the local dirt road highway, but it's something that we're gonna do, I swear. Unless I forget. Anywho, though, our first harvest of crops would fetch us 4,262 buckaroos. Ooh, my word! That was plenty enough for us to make a great big profit, as well as go about purchasing ourselves some more modernized rifles that are much more accurate. But our trading wasn't done there, as we were going to be headed to a northern French town with many a people we had heard who were looking for work. You see, the war between the Brits and the French has recently ended. I know, again, they're still having a few territorial clashes and skirmishes on occasion, but there are many veterans of the war who need something to do. However, as we're headed back through the forest to the farm, in the meantime back home, Man and Dumbo were doing a bit of mining. Yes, I know, not exactly our strong suit, but that's okay. We don't plan on setting up any type of mining operation here. We just needed a little bit of steel ore for our own personal use. The reason for this is because Dumbo is going to be using this steel to make himself a little bit of armor. Nothing too fancy or complicated, just a bulletproof waistcoat and a nice steel helm. No, he's not going off to fight in some war himself. We have much more intimate plans. More on that in just a second, though, as it would appear Carson has arrived back home, and he brought someone along with him. After making all that money and purchasing a couple of new rifles, we still had enough money left over to hire a new farmhand. Sort of a farmhand. This is Ethan. He is our hired muscle. You see, similar to Man, he is a veteran. Except he fought for the French. No matter though, the war has ended and they both have retired from their military service. We paid him an awful pretty penny of our profit, so I hope he's still got a lot of fight left in him. But I'll tell you what, you cannot put a price tag on shooting experience. Or, I guess you can, because like I said, we paid a lot. Ah, looks like you two have already made each other's acquaintance. Just think, gentlemen, a few years ago you were probably firing lead at one another on a battlefield. And yet here you both are, helping us tend to and defend our farm, our business, and our home. Speaking of which, how about we check out those new rifles that we bought? Oh yeah, no more smooth bore. These are gonna be right on target, and they'll hit like a damn loaded carriage. Now then, back to kinda what we were discussing earlier and why Dumbo's going to have some armor on. We're going to be equipping some bursting grenades because these two are going to have themselves a bit of a rescue mission. In case you're new around these parts, last year, during an attack by the Impid tribes people, one of our farm hands going by the name of Chef was kidnapped and taken across the White Rabbit Sea to one of their nearby outposts. And today, Dumbo and Ethan are going to be heading to the shoreline. They are going to be setting up camp there, cutting down trees, and building themselves a couple of rowboats. That's right, they're going to be making the long and treacherous journey, not on land, but by sea. Wouldn't it be easier to be on land, you might ask? Well, of course it would. But it would also be what the impids are most likely expecting. This way, we can sneak up on them, continuing to have the element of surprise, and to be honest with you, I think that this path might even be faster than trying to trek through the mountains. Even so, though, it would still take an unbelievably long amount of time. So long, in fact, that we almost completely ran out of food. But we did eventually arrive. In the distance, we could see the outpost. No doubt if our pal Chef is here, he's definitely in one of those buildings. The only issue, as you might have guessed, is that the impids aren't just going to let us walk in. We're simple farmers, but we are still not afraid to shed blood. Not over the ones that we care about. So it begins. I just noticed they also seem to have a great wolf. That could also be a problem. Let's check our range. So, our range is actually really good. I honestly think it would be a good idea. I don't know, I'm so tempted to try to use grenades in close quarters. This person seems to have... Whoa, alright, well, I think we've made our decision, gentlemen. Oh, if we could manage to hit her, that would be good. There we go. Oh, my word. Now we're talking. Where'd we hit? Kidney. I was expecting the liver from Dumbo, as he's quite the liver shooter. The great wolf to deal with. The other impetus went in here, though. I hear the wolf somewhere. Let's throw our grenades here and pop this open. Oh, whoa, I didn't even notice they're coming around the back. Oh, shoot. And we just threw grenades here, so that means we can't go that way. And they're going to be... Oh, no. She's going to... Okay, go. She's going to catch us. Oh, we almost blew ourselves up. We have some jade in here. She didn't even come for us. That was a really big mistake on her part, because now we're going to murder her. Let's throw a grenade here and hope she comes out. There we go. Oh, they're trying to burn down their own place here. Perhaps so that we can't take all their resources? I'm not sure. Let's go ranged weapons. She has a gigantic war hammer. I'm gonna wait on her out here. There we go. Oh, and that stupid little wolf. Come here, you. Where are you going? Damn dirty beast. Oh, we are getting some really good shots, and dang, these new, more modernized rifles are amazing. Okay, so we don't have our friend in here or in here. Good crew, our farmhand. We got some gin, we got a warhammer. These weapons will be nice, and the food. Let's see, we can go ahead and claim these doors. We have to be quite careful. There could be more. Looks like someone's downed in here. Could be crew, could also be more impid tribespeople. Let's go ahead and breach the doors at the same time. Oh, I thought these people were alive, but Chef, you're alive, our friend. Let's go ahead, we'll carry you. We're gonna get you the hell out of here. I think I called Chef Crew a moment ago, by the way. Sorry, very intense and nervous situation. We might have to build another rowboat. I don't know. We can actually... Go ahead and ensure that he's okay, though, and we'll start rowing back. Might be alright to fit in one of these. But, we have jade? Is there anything in this? No. We have gin, we have a warhammer, all the stuff we were looking at. I think that's about it, but that jade will sell nicely as well. And we got our sweet, precious chef. More than perfect compensation. My poor friend, I'm so glad to see that you're okay. Ah, well, you're missing your left leg. I'm glad to see that you're semi-okay, friend. Unfortunately, it looks like there's only enough room in each rowboat for one person. That means we're gonna have to build another. The problem with that, of course, is that our young chef here is currently down and out, and we'll have to wait for him to heal. That's not too big of a problem, except for the fact that we're going to have to camp now. I think we already claimed this. Let's go ahead and put Chef in here. We're gonna have to give him a day or so to heal up. Luckily, the Impids have already made camp for us, so we'll be able to stay here. If and so we choose, which we do, because it's really our only other option. The only issue is, we're definitely going to be facing down more Impids, I would say, at least in the next few days. So, not only are we going to be camping out, but we're also going to need to start prepping, getting rid of these corpses and cleaning this place up, until Chef is ready to actually leave, or is actually capable of leaving, I should say. But since we're going to be here for a while, with impending raids coming from the tribal Impids, we do need to make sure that we're ready. First and foremost, we're going to be collecting plenty of wood to build ourselves some comfortable furniture, as well as proper storage facilities. After this, we'll start working on defenses. As for right now, though, we need to make sure all of our food and other items are secured safely, because starvation could get us just as easily as any attack. Speaking of which, part of the reason that we couldn't do this mission during the fall or winter seasons is because of the lack of food and wildlife. As you see here, we're able to collect some apples as well as other things to eat, all thanks to the time of year. But as all three of our heroes begin to rest just before awakening in the morning to build their defenses around this little temporary base, meanwhile, back at the farm, we are going to be attending to our farming duties. Our work is truly never done. With fall just around the corner, we are finally getting in our second harvest of our buckwheat fields, getting ourselves a lot of quality buckwheat, I might add, as well as harvesting up all of our flour, which took an incredibly long amount of time, seeing how I'm the only one who is capable of doing this task with our friends away on their rescue mission, but nevertheless we got it done. A day or so later, we ended up having a British bulk goods trader arriving at the farm. Perfect timing, I might add, as we had been growing and birthing many a rabbit and quail that they would purchase, as well, of course, as our buckwheat, our normal wheat, and even some of our water chestnuts. Last but not least, we also sold off many of our textiles, like our cloth and our buffalo wool, all adding up to a great big profit of 6,054 buckaroos. Hot damn, somebody stop me. Don't actually stop me though, because with these profits we would also buy 3, yes count 'em, 3 beagles from the Brits. The perfect farmstead dog, as well as the perfect hunting dogs. They'd be good for helping us track down more coyotes or other predators if the need arises. Of course, though, they are going to need names. If you fine folks wouldn't mind providing me with some suggestions in the comment section, I'd very much appreciate it. Checking back in on our heroes, it would seem that Chef is finally back up on his, I was going to say feet, but I suppose foot is a better word. Yes, dear friend, remove your chains. You are finally free. I'm just sorry we took so damn long. Not only was Chef a free and rescued man, but he was a free and rescued man who was looking to fight off those who had put him in bondage. His old tribe, his old kin, now his enemies. Well, brother, you couldn't have picked a better time, it would seem. Yep, we knew they'd come eventually. Time to put them in the ground. The Impids are on their way here, but, we've already built some defenses. We just need to be very careful. I have pitfall traps and I also have spike traps, and I'm really hoping that they end up falling into them. We have to be careful though, because a few of them do have muskets and they also of course have flame bows. I think I'm gonna get Chef back here, and I want to pull us back here. Now we're talking. Come on. I don't want Chef to get hit though. We gotta be careful. I'm actually gonna swap over to grenades. I feel like they're... oh, they're right there. Can I might be able to chuck a grenade up here at this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, dang. They're already fleeing. Oh, we almost got caught on fire, though. Oh, Dumbo's pretty injured. Chef, Dumbo, get inside. No, come this way, please. Thing get inside as well. We gotta be careful here. This could be very bad. This person is fleeing. Let's open fire. Come on. Yeah. Oh, mama. Did we kill them all? No. There's still one over here getting away, but that's alright. And then we have this one here who is injured. Ow! Oh, you're pretty good at most things. But if we do that, we're gonna have to build another rowboat and wait for longer. I don't know, is it worth keeping you? You have a great intellectual skill and you're a good fighter. You could also learn to do cooking. We need a designated cook because Carson's been doing all the cooking, and you have a burning passion for plants, so you could pretty easily learn. You're like exactly what we need. Dang it. Alright, fine. I really don't want to stay here for longer than we have to, but. This lady here is going to be pretty good. And we don't even have to completely recruit her. We just kind of have to break her will enough so that she'll, you know, come with us. You know, she'll be willing to walk and not fight us every step of the way. In the game, they call it enslaved, but she's still our prisoner, not an actual slave. Although, I guess there's not too much of a difference, right? Thing is, too, we can't take prisoners, I don't think, on these boats. We could try it, but I don't think it's possible. I immediately want to build another rowboat. I didn't want to be stuck here for this long, but oh well, right? It's going to be well worth it. We need to cut down more trees. I haven't cut down this little portion yet. I've been cutting others. I think that'll be fine. It shouldn't take us all that long to actually get her going. Alrighty, here we go. Boom, perfect. A fourth rowboat. Now we just need to get our prisoner up and moving. What is rotting in here? A lot of rot stink. What's happening? Oh, ooh, yuck. Why are they, ugh. That's one place to put corpses, but preferably we put them down here in the designated corpse pile. Oh my god, who done that? Lung rot? Son of a bitch. Now she's got lung rot. Who done this? It had to have been Chef. The young lad, he's still learning. We're trying to, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt here, but you can't be stuffing corpses on the inside of somewhere. Oh my god. We'll have to harvest some heel root and tend to that for her. Sorry, Dumbo, I know you're trying to rest, but I need you, our right-hand man, to help us out. Alright, there we go. Yeah, we have quite a bit of time to pass, though, and we're probably going to get attacked again pretty soon. Like within the next so many hours. So we're currently in about the last hour or so before the next raid comes. Here we go. They are attacking immediately, and oh, okay, so we only have one. That's not too bad. We've also almost got this lady enslaved. She's at 0.3 will, so another time, a couple of times I should say, and I think we'll be fine. Let's chuck some grenades at this impid lady. Now we're talking. Whoa, Dumbo, good thing you got that, that bulletproof vest there, friend. Let's take cover behind our defenses. Oh, we've got a flash storm coming. Dumbo is getting hit pretty bad, though. I need to bring him in. I'm gonna move Ethan up this way, and as Chef is keeping them... Oh, shit, that hurt. Keeping them busy, hopefully. Yeah, let's wait. I want her to start firing again. Okay, so she's already paying attention to Chef. We're gonna chuck a grenade right at her head, and we're gonna move. There we go. Oh, sweet something. Alright, let's tend to ourselves. We need to harvest more heel root. Please tend to yourself, Dumbo. Oh, we had good medicine. Dumbo's been hoarding it all for himself, I think. Yeah, we don't have that much longer, though. We'll get this nice impid lady to join us. Not by her own free will, of course. But then we'll be ready to start rowing back across the White Rabbit Sea. Ethan, with his raspy, old French voice and a great big rifle, would manage to convince her. And now, with her on her feet, the four of us could finally start rowing back across. However, before we go, we've really shaped this place up quite nicely. It would be a massive shame if the impids were to come back and to use it against us once more. So, we're going to be blowing it to smithereens and burning it down to the ground. Sure, it would have been much more efficient to deconstruct it all and to try to take the resources back to the farm, but to be honest with you, that's a lot of work, and we've been here for far too long anyhow. Plus, I don't think we have that much room on our rowboats. Goodbye, shitty impid village. It was nice staying here for a while and killing all of your attacking tribespeople, but alas, we must bid you farewell. And so we did. starting to row back across the White Rabbit Sea just as we had detailed, which takes an incredibly long amount of time. What should we talk about? I know. While our heroes are rowing across the sea, perhaps I could interest you fine folks in some of the wonderful artworks created by our good friend Ken King. Made in their, now what I would call iconic rat style, I guess you could say. Up first here, as you can see, we actually have Carson and Dumbo. I love that Carson is very happy-go-lucky looking, and Dumbo, of course, being a bit more brash and hardened, I guess you could say. And we also have some wonderful art of Man and Teal, with Man having that sort of posh and pride, I guess, to him and his outfit and his uniform, and Teal being a bit of a wild-looking, scrappy fellow, expressing his background of kind of being a wild man. I absolutely love these, and thank you, Ken King, as always. You always do amazing work. I love your art style, and I want to thank you ever so much, truly. If any of you other wonderful people want to make any fan art for our series, or for myself, or just anywhere, for any reason, I guess, you can always email it to my Rat Night business email, therealratnightbusiness@gmail.com, or feel free to follow me on Twitter and message me there, and just send it to me through DMs, I suppose. Now then, I've gotten so excited about all the artwork, I almost forgot we finally arrived back home at the Frontier Farm. Oh, truly, I can't express how good it feels to be home. All of us being home, I might add. We immediately unloaded all the junk from our pockets and our backpacks, and with that, we can finally relax a bit. Chef, my friend, finally, I must say to you, welcome home. And I must tell you that I'm very sorry we didn't come for you sooner. It took us a very long time to even find out where you were, and then when we realized we had to come up with a plan to... You know what? No. No excuses. I'm sorry, and it won't happen again, my friend. Alright, enough of the sappy stuff. How's about you and me warm up by the fire, get drunk on gin, and play a few games of chess, just like the old days. It's going to take some time before our stoic tribal lady here ends up joining us as a proper farmhand, which is fine, because while we're attempting to recruit her, we also need her in a safe place so that we can tend to that lung rot that she caught, which she seems to be doing a bit better from. Here's hoping she doesn't die. We would also finally have our first harvest of our psychoid plant. I'm very glad that we're all back home because this made the process of harvesting and collecting it all that much easier. We had also received word from an approaching Prussian bulk goods trader who would end up arriving a couple days later. Perfect, as we need to sell all of our product off before fall arrives. We would end up selling them quite a few different things though, including some foals and even a few of our calves. And finally some of our wild dog puppies. It's about damn time because these little bastards have been chewing on everything. All in all, for this little trade-off, we would end up making 3,683 buckaroos. Man, we are swimming in the cash this season, our most profitable yet. Hopefully with many more to come. Now, speaking on our wild dogs, you fine folks in the last episode had left many a comment with name suggestions, and we are going to be going with the names of Moonshine and Jen. These wonderful names are provided by our good friend Majamek. They didn't exactly specify a reason, but personally, I love them because, well, they're cool, but also because they really symbolize the distilling that we're going to be doing in the very near future here on the farm. Speaking of which, with fall quickly approaching, that might be something that we do very soon. But my friends, that will be next time. Until then, I'll see you later.